Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Friday, June 1, he will meet North Korea's Kim Jong-un as originally scheduled on June 12 for a historic summit after extraordinary Oval Office talks with a top envoy from Pyongyang. Speaking after more than an hour of talks with Kim Jong-sul in the Oval Office, Trump told reporters that denuclearization, and a formal end to the decades-old Korean War, would be on the table in Singapore. But the U.S. leader warned that he did not expect to immediately sign a deal to bring a halt to the North's nuclear program. "I never said it goes in one meeting. I think it's going to be a process, but the relationships are building and that's very positive," he said, after waving farewell to the North Korean envoy, Kim's right-hand man. Ending the war. Trump said they had discussed formally ending the Korean War, which has been largely frozen since an armistice ended hostilities, but not the underlying conflict, in 1953. Since then, there have been occasional clashes on the divided peninsula. "We talked about it. We talked about ending the war," Trump said. "Historically it's very important, but we'll see. We did discuss that. The ending of the Korean War. Can you believe we're talking about the ending of the Korean War?" Washington is determined that Kim should agree to what U.S. officials call the complete, verifiable, and irreversible end of North Korea's nuclear weapons and intercontinental missile programs. Kim says he is committed to denuclearization in some form, but he is expected to demand security guarantees, one of which could be an informal end to the conflict with the US and South Korea. Most expert observers are skeptical that even an unprecedented summit between the two leaders can lead to a rapid breakthrough, and Trump admitted it would be a long and difficult process. "We're not going to go in and sign something on June 12. We never were. I told him today, take your time," he said, adding nevertheless that he expects a really positive result in the end. Kim Jong-sul, vice chairman of the ruling party executive and the most senior North Korean to visit the United States in 18 years, spent almost 90 minutes in the Oval Office. Afterwards, Trump and U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo walked the North's small delegation to their waiting cars, smiling and shaking hands in front of the media before the motorcade pulled away. Security guarantees. North Korean officials said Kim Jong-sul was expected to return to Pyongyang shortly. Meanwhile, discussions between U.S. and North Korean officials continue in Singapore and in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. On Thursday, Kim Jong-un told Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov that his commitment to denuclearization remains unchanged and consistent and fixed, but experts warn he will seek concessions from Washington. In addition to an end to the war, he is likely to seek international recognition, as well as guarantees against any strike by the U.S. forces stationed in South Korea. As expected, Kim Jong-sul handed Trump a letter from Kim that may clear up some of the questions. The U.S. leader said the missive was very nice, but then admitted he had not yet read it. An aide later confirmed he did after the talks. The Oval Office talks and letter delivery came only a week after Trump threatened to consign the entire process to history, abruptly canceling the summit in a sharply worded letter, only to revive preparations shortly afterwards. Trump said that, after Friday's talks, the parties are totally over that and now we're going to deal and we're going to really start a process. Since the short-lived boycott threat, diplomats from both countries have conducted an intense flurry of talks, culminating this week when Pompeo sat down in New York with Kim's envoy. Their decision. Pompeo said on Thursday that, after what have now been 2 meetings with Kim Jong-un and 3 with Kim Jong-sul, He believes the North is at least ready to consider addressing U.S. demands for denuclearization. I believe they are contemplating a path forward. They can make a strategic shift, one that their country has not been prepared to make before. This will obviously be their decision, he said. The flurry of diplomacy has also seen rapprochement on the Korean peninsula, with the two Koreas holding high-level talks Friday at the border truce village of Panmunjom. The meeting followed two landmark summits between the leaders of North and South Korea in the last 5 weeks. North and South Korea agreed to hold more meetings throughout this month to carry out the agreements reached between their leaders at the April summit, according to a joint statement issued after Friday's talks.